How you guys doing? Ethan, the director here. I gave you the worst of last night, 2010, and now it's time for me to talk about my favorite movies of 2010. These are movies that I remember very fondly from my childhood, and I just wanted to share my opinion and kind of share my experience with these movies. So, with that being said, let's get into the top five best movies of 2010. If you don't like any of these movies, that's totally fine. Opinions are opinions, so let's go ahead and get into it. So, if you guys don't know, I'm a huge fan of the Shrek series. I love the first two films. Don't like the third one. Really enjoyed the fourth one. It's a good contender for best Shrek film. Um, so I actually entered the theater during the middle of the movie, like where Shrek is trying to fly away from those witches. That was a very cool scene. This is very cool to see in 3D. This is a good conclusion to the Shrek series. One of the best conclusions any series could ask for. Sure, the third installment was sucked, but at least it had a good ending. It didn't end with Shrek the Third. Um, the animation, huge step up from the third film. Probably the best Shrek animation. Uh, Also, the plot is intriguing. Alternate universes. That's a really cool idea. Uh, People look. This is just another cash grab for DreamWorks, but it's really more than that. It's actually a movie teaching us one of the most important lessons: to not take life for granted, to cherish every moment with your loved ones. I really love that. This is one of the strongest anime features of all time. Definitely go watch Shrek Forever After. It's definitely. I'd even say it's a little better than Toy Story 4. Well, maybe not that far. Anyway, go check it out. All the characters are still likable. Rumpelstiltskin's a very great antagonist, huge step up from Prince Charming. Alright, so on to the next one. Speaking of another fairy tale movie, we have one of the best Disney movies of all time. Huge comeback. And it played before the trailer of Toy Story 3, which we'll get into that one later. Don't you worry. So, Tangled is about Rapunzel. It tells the story of Rapunzel, but it's a little bit more darker and it has a lot of good lessons. Instead of just long hair for a prince to grab onto and climb up the tower, it's magical. It can heal. Um, it can grow flowers. That's a very good twist to the story. Something that Frozen lacks, that Tangled has, is an adventure that is worth going on. It's not rushed. It's not annoying. The characters still remain likable from beginning to end. Zachary Levi does a great job voicing Flynn Rider, aka Eugene Fitzherbert. The animation is absolutely stunning and some of the best Disney's ever done. Um, and it's a really fun movie. Go check it out. Anyway, on to the next one. Now, many of you know Despicable Me as the huge animation giant that brought you the Minions, one of the most profitable brands in Walmart today. But let's forget about all of the insane marketing and just remember Despicable Me as a fun little movie for the whole family to enjoy. There was a teaser trailer that constantly pop up in a vast majority of movies in theaters, and we were waiting to see what the movie would be like. Because all they showed was the beginning part of the movie, like the pyramid getting stolen, a kid trying to fly his plane, like playing with it, and then he falls on the pyramid and it launches him back onto his father. And then it cuts to the anchorman talking about the pyramid being stolen and who did it. And then it cuts to a like sort of a picture of the main character Gru. He like steps into the silhouette on the Despicable Me logo, and we were waiting to see what the movie would be like. It was a huge surprise. It was cute. It was action packed. It had a lot of charm to it. It was very funny. All the characters were likable. Vector was kind of a weak villain, but um, other than that, Despicable Me remains a fun little movie. And if you like the Minions, or if you just like a fun little movie, you should definitely go check out Despicable Me. Um, Steve Carell killed it as Gru. Um, the girls, they were really good characters. Dr. Nefario, played by Russell Brand, he was excellent in that role. Despicable Me was my second favorite movie of 2010, but you'll find out what number 2 is now, just in a sec. So, when Despicable Me started, it was fun. It was enjoyable. It's certainly not the same franchise it is today. Um, and just a spoiler alert for the best movies of 2013. I think Despicable Me 2 is even better than the first movie, but just like Shrek the Third, I don't like Despicable Me 3 or Minions. If you've seen the top 3 worst Illumination movies, then you know that Despicable Me 3 is the worst of Illumination by far. So, anyway, let's get to number 2. This is possibly one of Bruce Willis's best movies by far. Red is a delight. It's got an insane amount of action in it, but it's not like most action thrillers. It's not like your average Tom Cruise movie. It's more like focusing on the relationship of every member of this group called Red. They're all really relatable. They're all really likable. Especially love the chemistry between Bruce Willis and Mary Louise Parker. Um, I love every single character in this movie. It's a very fun thriller, especially if you're into espionage. You'll definitely love this movie. Haven't seen the second one, but apparently John Campea says it really sucks. Um, and I have been wondering if they're gonna make a Red 3, but you know what? Even if they don't, at least the first film is still good. We can always watch the first film again. Um, Morgan Freeman's character is pretty cool. Overall, Red is a very fun experience. I definitely recommend you go check it out. It's based off a DC comic. Never even knew that. I'd probably say this is the best espionage movie. It beats all the Mission Impossible movies. Jack Reacher, Night and Day, James Bond. Just it just beats every one of those movies. Definitely go check it out. Now, come on, guys. Did you really think that I would talk about the top 5 best movies of 2010, and not mention this magnum opus of the Toy Story movies? Toy Story 4 is good. Toy Story 2 is great. The original broke so many ground in terms of what they could do with animation and technology. But Toy Story 3 remains one of the greatest movie experiences ever. Definitely in animation. The characters that we've all grown to know and love from the previous 2 films, they took all the characters from those films, developed them even more, and they raised up the stakes. They made the story more engaging, and it's very clever that they waited until 2010 to make the 3rd film, because now Andy's a teenager. That is a totally new struggle for the toys. The Toy Story movies have never reached this height of magnificence or stupidity. I'm gonna say that. But Toy Story 3 made me cry when Andy gave away his toys. I was tearing up in that theater. It was one of the most heartwarming and just very emotional experiences. I gotta be honest, I didn't cry in Toy Story 4. But in Toy Story 3, I was bawling like a baby. Right in the front row seat of that theater. Toy Story 3 is one of the greatest Pixar movies. It totally deserves every single amount of recognition that it gets. I easily consider Toy Story 3 the best movie of 2010. None can compete. All the characters are likable. and it just has so much of a grand finale. So if you definitely love the Toy Story movies, definitely go check out Toy Story 3. But you know what? You probably already have. You probably already know how great of a movie Toy Story 3 is. So just watch it some more. It's great. Don't stop watching it. See you guys later.